extend additional services to the existing client base, or sometimes reaching out beyond that because people need help and I want to help them.
Awesome. So what inspired you to go from, just these businesses to helping people with their businesses and sales?
Well, that's a great question, Dave, because I think my story, right, is that I started my first business when I was 12 and kind of caught that entrepreneurial bug. I bought my first house when I was 19, and then I started my first company with employees when I was 20. And I started, I built that company, I sold it, and, kind of caught this vision of understanding business and what it takes to start. Not being afraid of the phone is one of the things that has really catapulted my successes because I'm not afraid. And so that confidence on the phone and in person has made a really big difference. So as I watched other people and I rose, to top 10 internationally in the direct sales industry for more than a decade, that people were always asking me, how do you do it? What do you do? How do you do it? And then, so I was helping them and flying around the world and going through these things. And then other people saying, well, wait a minute, you did a construction company. You had a bookkeeping and tax company. You had 2 gourmet food service companies. You could help me, can't you? And so, I would start to help them and give them guidance. And because I like to be an expert in whatever I do, I really like to dive deep and not just understand things on the surface. I went to internet marketing school and started really understanding social media and algorithms and online business and those things. And then people, of course, were really saying, how can you help me? Can you help? Can you help? And because I have a really good aptitude for business and for seeing how to integrate that with a tribe and with people, I just started coaching them and training them and created that because speaking and being an author and speaking is my favorite part. As I love to speak to large groups so I can inspire people in a big way. And, those people want individual help. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah. And speaking of speaking, I believe you are going to be speaking at CreatorCon.live. Is that correct?
I am. I have, yes.
I will also be a panel speaker at CreatorCon.live.
That is exciting. I can't wait. That is going to be super fun.
Yeah, it really is. When I looked at the panel list, there was only one person there that I didn't already know personally.
Oh, wow. Well, that's exciting.
So it's like, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Definitely. I think it'll be a really exciting opportunity for people to connect and see, a little bit behind the scenes and to extend themselves. So I'm really excited about that. Oh, whoops. They're telling me there's no audio on my Facebook, on the Facebook Live. Sorry, you guys. That doesn't really help them, does it?
Oh, boy. You've had a lot of audio issues with Facebook lately.
Well, it's this iPad is really old, and I think I tried to get stuff off of it, and I think once it gets close to that maximum, that it just stops recording audio. So I have to figure out what else I can get off there, or get a new iPad. One of the two.
It might be easier to get a new iPad.
My kids would probably enjoy that quite a bit.
Who said anything about them?
Yeah, but if I get a new one, they're going to take this one. They'll clean it off, get rid of my stuff, and be all over it.
So when you get a client, what is the most often asked question that you get?
Well, I think that depends, but honestly, people say, how do I make money? I mean, that's because entrepreneur, it's true because they're feeling like, okay, I understand my business or my product, but I don't understand how to make money because I have this idea and I know how much it costs, but they don't really know how to charge and they don't know how to sell. So really it's based on how do I make money? Basically, I want to live my dream. You keep talking about living my dream, but if I can't make money, it's not much of a dream. It's a little bit more like a nightmare. And so I try and help them learn how to sell and to develop their confidence and to understand how to reach out and start to connect with people, especially using social media and live streaming.
Nice. So what got you into social media?
Well, that's a really good question. I think and I can't even remember what year it was. I'm going to say it was like 2000, and it might have been 2009, 2011. Every year I choose like a theme of the year, and I say, this is where I think things are going, or this is what I really want to focus on. And I don't remember which year it was, but one of those years I said, this is the year of social media. And so I started investing myself in internet marketing school and understanding, what social media is. I have to tell you, when I first started Twitter, I remember I have no idea what I'm doing here. Like, nobody's talking to each other, and I don't know what to do. Oh, I like that. And I had no idea how to use it. And I felt, really inept. And so again, whenever I feel inept at something, I say, hey, I got to figure this out. So I started diving in and checking things out and reading. And again, really connecting. And then when I got it, then I get it. And then people say, I hate Twitter. And I'm like, oh, I was there. I didn't know what I was doing, but let me help you. Let me show you how to bridge that gap. And so we can actually help you to contribute.
Nice.
So that's why I started, because I saw it as a great opportunity to connect with other people, but I didn't understand it as a whole. And if I don't understand, I gotta figure it out.
And how did you find Periscope?
How did I find Periscope? That is a really great question. My friend, if you guys don't know Jen Lehner, at jenlehner.com, you have to get to know her. She is thebomb.com. Honestly, I love this girl. And one day we were chatting, and I was going over to a meetup that we were both involved in. And she's like, you have to Periscope it. And I was like, well, I don't know how to use it. And I didn't have an iPhone at the time, and it was strictly for iPhone. So I borrowed somebody else's phone. She's walking me through it on mine. She told me what to do, and I Periscoped it. So I started Periscope right from the very beginning, but I didn't have it on my phone because I didn't have an iPhone. So the day it came out for Android, I was there. I was on it. And I remember making some really goofy mistakes, but I remember that this was a great opportunity to help other people and to just extend the knowledge that I have to give it to others.
So let me guess. Your first screenshot in a broadcast was of your feet.
Oh, yes. That's
embarrassing. That is almost, yes. That is the universal Periscope first scope scene. Is people's feet because they're trying to figure out how everything works.
Well, that's true, but remember, when it first came out facing the other direction, right? And so you couldn't turn it around until it started. And then when Android came out, they did allow you to double click and transition into your face first. So just Team Android did have one advantage. I'm just saying, we had one advantage, but that's why there were a lot of feet shots in the beginning.
Yeah, I found Periscope through a guy named Peter Hollins, and he is an a cappella singer. And you've probably heard of him and not even known it. Because he had a couple viral videos. A couple of years ago, it was him in a church, and he literally cloned himself singing all the parts for Mary Did You Know.
Wow, that's crazy.
And then
that's how fun,
last
right?
Christmas, he did an amazing a cappella version of Amazing Grace. With, I forget the name of the group that joined him, but it's one of the most beautiful renditions of the song I've ever heard.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And so I support his wife on a site called Patreon. So every month I send some money to help her do her YouTube presence. And so he was broadcasting her performing. I'm like, I want to actually see her perform live, so I downloaded the app.
Wow. And there you go. And then a new Periscoper live streamer was born, right?
This was about a month into Periscope. It was May 2015. So literally a month after the app went public.
Oh, that's exciting.
So, please tell me, how did you end up knowing about this gal?
Oh, my friend Amy Schnittauer, the vlog boss. Oh, okay. Well, that is another good question, because you remember our old Blab days, right? Is that from Periscope? Blab came out, and a lot of us scopers and live streamers went over to the Blab platform and started connecting and contributing. And I remember, because her name, her other business name is called Savvy Sexy Social. And so I kept saying Savvy Sexy Social come up. I'm like, who in the heck is Savvy Sexy Social? That's such a cool name, And so, just connecting there and then connecting with Joel Comm and Vincenzo Blandino and, having this whole group of people get together. And I one day, in Vincenzo's newsfeed, I think maybe it wasn't Vince, but somebody put her video up that was the jab right hook, parody that just blew me away. I had absolutely no idea that she could sing and that she had done this fantastic thing. And, and after that, I just became a super huge fan. I became like, I'm a super fan. It was awesome.
Yeah,
so that's how I met her.
Nice. I found her through Snapchat. Someone shared her on Snapchat. It was right before she went to Dublin.
Oh, awesome.
And, yeah, I'm still mad she never brought Guinness to me.
Oh, well,
And she goes, well, there were a lot of people in line for Guinness, asking me for that.
Oh, my gosh.
But yeah, she made this amazing book. Have you had a chance to read it all the way through?
I have. Right before I had her on my show, I read it, and she did an excellent job helping people to blog like a boss. And I understand that you actually have some copies of that book that you're giving away.
Yeah, I'm giving away 2 copies at the end of this scope. So if people go to my Twitter, and at the top is a pinned tweet with a link. And you can enter, right now there's 164 entries available, or that have been put in, and so you have a real high chance of winning if you hurry up and go do that wonderful thing.
Well, you're making me want to go do it. I got to tell you, people, if you have not read this book yet, definitely get it. Go to Dave's your Twitter page, right? Go to Dave's Twitter page at Dave Gons 2012.
Yeah.
Go check it out. Get in the drawing, guys. Really, you will not regret it. She's an amazing girl, and that's great.
And literally anyone could follow that book.
Yeah.
The way she breaks it down is so practical.
Yes.
And that, I think, is what makes it such a great book.
Right.
Because she doesn't fill it with a whole bunch of anecdotes and all this theory. It's, hey, you want to start vlogging? Here you go. Here's how you do it.
Right. And it's funny. I mean, she puts some comedy and a little humor in there. She kind of, blends things around. Anyway, yeah, she's a lovely girl. And
she's very sweet,
like I said,
very humble.
She is. Yeah, she's a doll.
Yeah. And she told me the whole story about the redneck suitcase.
That was so funny.
That was honestly, her reaction too.
Oh, it was hilarious. Well, you have to laugh when you are traveling, and we were at the Tony Robbins event, and my zipper breaks. Not like a little break. We're talking about the whole darn thing breaks. And so I'm supposed to meet them for breakfast, and I literally have to carry the suitcase out, and get it in the back of the Uber, right? And so I'm like, you guys, I don't know. I have to go get some duct tape or something because I don't know what to do. I can't find, where am I going to get a suitcase? It was a crack up. And so Vincenzo went to the store, got some duct tape. I get out, and then we videotaped him doing what I call my redneck suitcase, and totally wrapping it up. And it made it home all the way. So and then I replaced it with my brand new purple suitcase, and you know how I love purple.
Oh,
so
yes.
I felt I was all good with that.
So I wanted to share a photo because you have a very specific action that you've coined the phrase Fitch slap.
Yes, I have.
So can you explain what that is?
I sure will. I have a podcast called one of my podcasts, I have 2 that are what's called He Said, Red Said, where red is always right? And it's a little witty banter, and it's a fun show. I call it Fun Day Monday, right? Is that we need to kick off Monday with a lot of fun. And it is a Fitch slap is a public service. It only comes out when necessary. It is always done in love, and it is designed to put someone back on track that has gone astray. So, when people make ridiculous claims or statements, like if someone said women should be barefoot and pregnant, boom, the Fitch slap comes out as a public service and redirects their attention and puts them back on track.
Well, that was perfect timing because when you said what they would, sorry, what they had said, I had transitioned to the photo of you and Aaron.
Me giving Aaron a Fitch slap because Aaron at Archon Mounts, they're they are an amazing sponsor. They love live streamers, and as a matter of fact, the word you're talking about, Fitch slap, is a code where people can get a discount at archon.com. By using that code, they can get 20% off anything they purchase.
Yeah, speaking of hooking people up, if you go to Vicki's website, vickifitch.com, there are actually 2 links that you can.
Yes, thank you for that. Yes.
And how did you come up with that?
Because I believe that, right? Well, I think the phrase itself has been around a while, but it's a philosophy that I practice. After I had my first business, my bookkeeping and tax company, my husband, he wasn't my husband at the time we were engaged. He got me to sell it and go work for him. He's a vice president of a publicly traded company, and he got me to go run a division over there. And during that, I realized that these people that I was working with did not have vision for the future. They didn't have like this excitement and understanding that there was more out there. So I started a course that I started right there. I'm not going to tell you how many years ago that was because it's more than 23, but let's just kind of move past that. But I started a course for them. And of course, it wasn't an online course at the time. It was called Dreaming into Achieving. And so it was helping them identify their goals, their 20-year goals, 10-year, breaking them all the way down to a daily practice of what they could get done to make sure they could execute on their goals. And so, the dream it, because we have to dream, and then we have to believe we can get there. Because if we don't believe we can get there, the achieving part feels so far off that we never go. And so that's where the dream it, believe it, achieve it. And like I said, it wasn't my original catchphrase. I'm sure I got it from somewhere. My husband always calls that creative swiping.
So you just launched something today that I want to give a shout out to. And, as a fellow entrepreneur of sorts, I don't really consider myself an entrepreneur yet. I put the word aspiring in front of it. Just because I'm not at the point where I have a business plan or any kind of thing to launch. Right now, I'm just doing a passion, a full-time passion, along with a full-time job.
Okay.
And, but, sorry, I just lost my train of thought.
You were talking about the new service that I just launched today, and then how it's going to be something that could really help entrepreneurs.
One of the things, especially, if you're in a place kind of where I am, where you have the full-time job because you need the stability, sometimes you don't always have the time and the resources to do everything that you need to do in order to become a successful entrepreneur. So if you go to Vicki Fitch's website.com, vickifitch.com/VA, there are actual virtual assistants that you can order blocks of time for, monthly, weekly, daily, and they can do some of those tasks that you can offload off of your plate.
Exactly.
And, free yourself up so you're doing the fun part and doing what you're good at.
Exactly, Dave. And that's what we want, right? As entrepreneurs, our goal is to take the part we love, take our passions and deliver it in a way that we can actually, expand on it and get excited about it. A lot of people get really stuck in the minutia, like, oh, I got to do this and I got to do that. And so up until this point, I've been providing it for my coaching clients, that we have a VA and we bring them on and we would assign those duties out. And so many people are asking me, going, oh, I got to do this. I got to do this. So we have a staff, I don't even know how many of us there are altogether between the VAs, the copywriter, graphic artists, website developers. I think there's 13 of us all together. And so we have, we put this together so that the everyday entrepreneur can come get some affordable assistance. And the beauty of it is because they're being directed by me, someone that understands business and online business and social media, that I train each one of my VAs. We have a meeting every week. I train them on some form of business, social media, a platform, a software, something to help them even more beneficially to assist our clients. And so they get to buy blocks of time as small as 5 hours a month. And they pick their block, and we assign them one VA for the tasks, most of their tasks. But if there's a specialty item, then we're all a team. So we'll redirect it to the person who is best in that particular area, so we can make sure we get it done as quickly as possible.
Okay, I'm being told there's an echo. I'm not hearing any echo.
And I don't think it's me because I only have this microphone. I don't even have a microphone on the computer. It's only, the speaker is only in my ear.
And we'll check the replay.
Okay.
Not much we can do right now. So, yeah, when I have a guest on, I try to promote them as much as possible because the reason why I ask certain people to be on my show is because my goal is to connect viewers with people who have achieved a dream, who have ignited their thoughts into meaningful actions to make that dream a reality. You've done that. Amy has definitely done that. Ryan Bell has. Silvika Roska has.
Yes.
That's pretty much my criteria for a guest is,
okay.
Because it doesn't have to be something grandiose, it's just, were they able to make that accomplishment?
Sure.
And that's with the hope that the viewer who is watching is able to glean information to make their journey just a little easier.
Good point.
So, Vicki, I'm going to open up the floor, and I'm really scared about this. I'm going to let you ask me some questions.
Oh, my. Wow, I didn't know I got that privilege. Let's see.
Well, I didn't want you to prepare too much in advance, so I spread it out.
Yeah, right, because I might have dug around a little.
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, so Dave, what got you into the podcasting or broadcasting arena of life? What is it that made you want to start sharing all the other entrepreneurs besides, just the value driven? What is it that made you take this platform, this medium?
Well, I always wanted to, help other people. When I was in high school, I actually launched a suicide prevention program after we had 3 students commit suicide within a month. And, I've always been kind of the support group. And so that's kind of been a reoccurring theme over my life. And I always like helping see people achieve something. Because there's no greater feeling for me than to see someone go from point A to point B and knowing that I was able to help them and be a part of that success.
Right.
And with Periscope, I actually spent the first year or so really just trying to find my voice. It was getting the courage to hit the big red button because, with my past, which I was born with a cleft lip and palate, and I went up through college with a severe underbite. And I'm very short. I'm 5'4". So if you see me at Summit, you will probably be looking down on me, literally.
Not down on you. Never looking down on you. I may have to look down because I am kind of a gargantuan, right? I'm 6 foot tall and I usually wear heels. So I could be a full foot taller than you when I see you.
It's okay. But, that, really affected me mentally. I still believe I'm dealing with the after effects of it. And
Sure.
even though it's been well over a decade since I've had all the reconstructive surgeries, so for me, getting on video and speaking is, a very big challenge.
Sure,
And,
I can understand that.
So that first year was just being able to get to that, and I found such a wonderful community on Periscope. Even with all the trolls, there's still such an awesome community on this platform that I haven't found on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat even.
Right.
It's really something that I was lucky enough to find the platform as it grew.
Sure.
And connect with the right people like Joanne Pham, founder of the Perry Girls. Kama
She's
Mohia,
great.
who is founder of the Perry Dudes. And just various people. Vicki Fitch. I hear she's really cool.
Thank you.
And and so
You're sweet.
I've always wanted to really do some help. And so last February, I did a cancer fundraiser / giveaway. I had a pretty nice violin that I had autographed by violinist Lindsay Sterling and her sister. And her keyboardist had just passed away from cancer. And so the goal of the project was to get people to go away from the hashtag mentality to actually doing something. So all they had to do was post proof that they donated to a cancer charity of their choice, use a hashtag and to tag Lindsay Sterling in their post. Those three things, no cost, minimum cost or anything. And the winner ended up being a gal in West Covina, and she donated to a dog cancer shelter.
Oh,
Because her dog is a cancer survivor.
Wow.
And last May, I got to meet her and the dog.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. Well, sounds like a wonderful cause, Dave.
And so I ended up, this show kind of grew organically from that.
Gotcha. Well, it sounds like a lovely thing that you've done.
Like I said, it's a full-time passion.
Yeah. Well, that's really exciting. Now, I know that you had told me that you were really excited about my book coming out, A Vic the Bully in Your Head.
Yes.
And, you've been very vocal on the broadcasts and stuff that you feel like you do have a bully in your head. Would you say that it stems from some of the things that you just shared, or would you say it comes from somewhere else?
That, and I had a lot of external forces that were pretty much telling me, no, you can't do this. And what's funny is, if you look at the people I look up to now, they're almost all people that have been told no.
Sure. I think it spurs us on.
Well, for example, Lindsay Sterling, she was told on national television, there's no room in the world for what you do. And
she didn't listen.
Yeah. And then Leon Thompson, which is an odd choice, he was an inmate at Alcatraz.
Wow.
And I actually got to meet and talk to him a couple of times. And, he was pretty much always told no, and it was actually on Alcatraz that he started to, come around and break the walls down, break down a lot of the hate that he had built within himself.
Wow. What an exciting story.
And of course, Dr. Robert Ballard, who found the Titanic.
Okay. Well, see, you got quite a variety of people there.
But every one of them was told no. You can't do it. So.
Well, it's good that that all these people, including yourself, have continued, making the best out of things and not accepting no as an answer. Is there other? I'm not sure how long the broadcast is, so
they usually last about 40 minutes.
Okay. So I probably have time for one more question.
Yes.
Let's see. What question am I going to ask you? If you could meet one person, if there's one individual you can meet in person that you haven't yet, who would it be?
I think, didn't I answer this on a previous scope?
I don't know, sweetie. If you did, I did not.
Maybe it wasn't your scope.
Yeah, maybe not.
The Queen.
The Queen of England?
Yes.
Oh, well, and why would you want to meet her? What is it about her that sets her apart for you?
I'd like to talk to her about, how she's been able to reign over such a severe culture change. Because her reign really saw a major, several influxes of culture.
Mm-hmm.
There's the counter-culture movement in the 60s. There's the Cold War. There's, the advent of the internet and this booming technology that we're in. And also just the changing values. I'm particularly thinking of 97 when Princess Diana was killed in the car crash. And what's funny is a lot of people don't realize, that she was groomed for the regality, in the 30s, 20s, and the 1940s before taking, ascending to the crown in 1950s. And so things were a lot different. People didn't express publicly their emotions the way that people do now.
Right.
And just I love to find how she managed to weather those storms.
Well, you are a man of depth for sure. Yeah, that's really exciting and interesting. Yeah.
I'm assuming that was a compliment.
Well, what else would it be? Of course.
Well, you did threaten to Fitch slap me.
No, I never threatened that, and I would never Fitch slap you on your own show. That's on my show. Well, unless you got out of line. If you got out of line, I might have to let it fly. If you started calling yourself names, the Fitch slap would definitely come out, even on your own show.
Well, I don't call myself names.
See? So we're all good.
Awesome. So I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show. And I'm going to show that the resources again.
I agree. I think it's pretty phenomenal. I have to tell you, because I charge quite a bit for my time because I'm worth it. And giving away 20 minutes, I pack so much value into that 20-minute consultation that people will be amazed because I want to help them really to rock that dream.
I might need to do that during Summit.
I don't know that I'll have time during Summit, but we'll definitely have to get that consultation done.
I still have to book my hotel.
Oh, no. You know what? Somebody told me my hotel wasn't booked the other day. I got to check that myself. My assistant books it for me. And I got to check that out.
Well, I had to save up all the money because I can't afford the Biltmore.
Gotcha. I hear you.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone, for coming in. And it's always a pleasure. Please come back every Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we help people ignite their thoughts into meaningful actions to make their dreams a reality. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
Very nice.